Well, hi, Anna. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. You're going to be a speaker at our first annual Playful EMDR Summit, and I just think the world of you. I think when we're speaking about the world, I think when we think about children and EMDR, you are the person that comes to mind. You're a pioneer in our field. When I first was trained in EMDR, your name was the only name that I heard when it came to children with EMDR. And I went and got the book immediately, and I carried it with me everywhere I went, even on vacation. So to learn more from you is incredible, but I just I can't even imagine what it's going to be like in November in Cocoa Beach, Florida, at our summit with you, just presenting along with Marshall Lyles. So thank you.
Oh, Jackie, thank you for having me here. And I'm so grateful to be part of the Playful Summit and to present alongside of, other wonderful EMDR clinicians like you, Marshall Lyles, and Beckley and in Monaco. So it's going to be great.
Yes, Ann and Annie and I, they're so fun too. They came
They
down here.
are.
Yeah, they're a little bit on the crazy side, so we have like a blast when we're together.
Yeah.
They came down here to just kind of check out the area when we were planning it, and we were daydreaming about like, imagine we're going to be here with Ana Gomez and Marshall Lyles and all the EMDR therapists from all around. So I'm super excited. Now I know you have a plethora of resources. Before we hit record, I took a look at your website and we discussed some of the things you have even more than I knew about. So I'm wondering if in this video we could really kind of explore where people could go to learn more from you. And I could share my screen if we need as well.
Well, Jackie, thank you so much for giving me this window to be able to communicate with the EMDR community and share with them a little bit about, the work that I've been doing for the last 22 years as an EMDR clinician and 27 as a child clinician. So I was telling you before we started to record that I have intensives. So the intensives, the certificate programs are comprehensive programs that address multiple areas when it comes to EMDR therapy in children. So we have the first program is the EMDR Child Specialist Intensive Certificate Program. And we're going to have one in October, and we're going to have in January in 2023. Many of the EMDR child specialists will be scheduled. We also have the EMDR Santre intensive
Oh,
certificate program. It's really one of my babies, the combination of EMDR therapy and Santre. And I'm going to be presenting on part of it, not completely, but presenting on the use of EMDR and Santre. And so that one is 45 hours. All of the intensives are 45 hours. The other intensive is the EMDR parent-child attachment intensive certificate program. And this focus on the work with parents, intergenerational trauma, the systemic work that is often needed when we're working with children that have been injured through, or that have received the injuries of multiple generations. And the last one is the EMDR complex trauma and dissociation intensive certificate program. And of course, this one will focus on severe dissociation, working with really complex clinical presentations. So 180 hours.
wow.
Yes.
That's a lot of trainings, and I'm going to share. I know you have some master classes too, but I've spoken with some clinicians that have attended your intensives, and of course, in our play therapy community, when I post about it, there's comments like, "This is the best training I've ever went to," and these clinicians, after these trainings, they know how to use what they've learned. So there's like this practical application where they're learning it, but then they're going back and using it with some of their most complex cases. So it truly is life changing. It looks like there's something for everyone too. I mean,
Yeah. And they have, of course, a lot of, they have theory, but they also have a lot of how to. So here's how you do it. And then we have a lot of practice, supervised practice, where you can receive feedback right on the spot. You can watch videos, like demonstrations. So they're very rich.
Yeah.
The intensive is really the best way to learn it. But for people that don't want to do this intensive work, then we have the master classes, and the master classes are pre-recorded.
Hmm.
And we have 10 master classes that really cover, the first 5 master classes cover most of the phases of EMDR treatment. And
Hmm.
then we go into more specific areas like EMDR and group protocols. There is a master class that is addressing EMDR Santre, that work with parents, that work with defenses, that work with shame and guilt, that work with aggression and self-harm. And also, one of my latest protocols is the story making protocol. And there is one more thing that I'm really excited about, is all the group work, the GTEP and the child GTEP, which is the group protocol that I adapted from Ilan Shapiro, which is just a great mentor as well.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I love GTEP. I learned it from Bill Brislin and Reg Moore Robinson. The thought of using that with children, that's incredible. So do
Yeah.
you have an actual training that teaches how to do it with kids?
Absolutely. Yes, we're organizing one probably for the beginning of 2023. So what we're going to have is the GTEP, the group traumatic episode protocol developed by Ilan Shapiro. I am a trainer in GTEP. And then the second day is going to be CGTEP, which is the children's version, is the butterfly journey. And there are multiple ways of doing it. You get a 77-page workbook to use it, but you also have multiple options, including how to do it in the Santre. And then the third day is an additional protocol that I developed based on GTEP and resource development and installation protocol, and it's called the GPEP. Is a group parent empowering protocol. It's so beautiful, where we use the parenting wheel and how to work with parents within a group setting utilizing EMDR based protocols.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible. Okay, so I'll put a link to your website, but all those links as well. And I definitely I'm gonna take the GTEP and the GPEP. That's like a huge part of the child's healing journey is really resourcing and helping the parents heal. Wow, you've created so much.
My
It's
mind is usually busy.
And I know, just a random thought. I'm starting to feel a little emotional thinking about it. During COVID, you gave out so many free resources. You were posting like child-friendly SUD scales, subjective unit of distress, and VOCs that were all playful. And you have such a giving, loving heart. I just think it's
Oh,
beautiful.
thanks, Jackie. Yeah, I mean, during COVID, we were very active. So something really wonderful happened. It was the creation of the EMDR Child Global Alliance. And so globally, a lot of us trainers and consultants got together and formed the Global Alliance. And so we together developed a lot of resources that we were giving to EMDR clinicians at no cost. And so that's part of one that we created stories. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful group. You can go to the EMDR Child Global Alliance.com. We have a website. And I also have resources that you can download for free if you go to my other website, which is www.anagomez.org. And
Okay.
so you can download stories, you can download the SUT scale, and that's all for free. A workbook also for children utilizing EMDR therapy. So I hope you visit the website and can download all the free resources.
Oh my goodness, how wonderful. You are a world changer. And as we're chatting, I'm thinking before we hit record, we talked about Coco. Can you tell everyone before we hop off this video about Coco and the blanket underneath Coco?
Yes. So we're going to Cocoa Beach, and then I have Coco. So the tiger that you see right behind me is Coco. Coco has an incredible history because um, in 2020, I was working for an advocacy center, working almost exclusively with children with history of sexual abuse, physical abuse, or witnesses to homicides. I was working closely with the police department here in Phoenix. And so when I started working at this agency, they gave me Coco. Coco is this big, beautiful tiger. Well, so for 20 years, Coco has been a helper for kids. So Coco has accompanied a lot of children. So he's by their side. It's one of the resources, one of the helpers. So I just love Coco. I take Coco wherever I go. Underneath Coco, you have a blanket, which is the shy blankets, very well known. I teach a lot about the blanket. And so a lot of kids also even process underneath the blanket. And
Mhm.
so this is another blanket that I acquired at the same agency. And so it's been with me for 22 years. I mean, I just absolutely love them.
Wow, wow, what a resource and what a representation of not only the healing work that you did, like directly, but how you're helping the world learn how to do EMDR with kids. I mean, you've created knowledge. You're not just sharing stuff that you've learned in other places. You've created things from scratch that wouldn't have otherwise even been available to us.
Well, and I think, the children, they have been my biggest teachers. They show me what they needed, the child that they couldn't tolerate processing, that it was too much,
Yeah.
one day, really, I didn't know what to do. And I look at the blankets and I look at the child. And then I came up with the shy blanket. And I said, hey, I have this very special blanket. And so you can go inside and that blanket can, hold you and create a special space for you. So the child went under the blanket and we were actually able to process. This is a blanket that is big enough, heavy enough to give, a sense of support. There
So
you go.
I've got underneath it, it's like a safety,
Underneath,
right?
yes, yes, feels safe. But the
Mhm.
other piece about the blanket is that they can see through, but they are not seen. And so they can see, they were able to see me, or sometimes the parents went under the blanket with them. And
Oh,
sometimes the child felt free to say, I need the shy blanket, So I have in my office all kinds of resources that they can utilize. They may request Coco, they may request their blanket, they may have other helpers that I have, and companions. So that way they don't have to process alone. We want to make sure that when we process, we do it in a way that corrects, right?
mhm.
That provides for the child what the child didn't have. And
Mm.
so it's a whole corrective experience, a new experience for them, a healing experience during processing. And so they're accompanied. And of course, I emphasize my companionship. I'm right here with you,
Mm.
right? I'm by your side. So we're providing all the things that they didn't have when the trauma happened.
Oh, everything you just said, it's like just exuding safety and connection. I'm with you, and we're in here together, and you could use this if you need it. And it just was organically born through one of your gazillion sessions with children that really just needed that support through healing through their trauma.
Well, I have to say that a lot of things I came up with were just, they came to me in the middle of not knowing, in the middle of really embracing and accepting the moment of not knowing, where you feel you're in that moment, you have a child that is dysregulated or shutting down, and you're wondering, what do I do? I have I tried this and nothing worked. What do I do? And as you embrace the unknown,
Mhm.
eventually it just something comes your way and
Yeah,
you go, that's it, right? So
that's
a lot of
right.
things I teach really came to me during those moments of not knowing, and
Mm.
those moments of embracing the unknown. And then suddenly there is an answer that comes, so that's the shy blanket. Everything really I teach came through those channels of a moment of having a child that is dysregulated, that you don't know what to do, and then it comes.
Yeah, just listening to that intuitive wisdom. They're our
Yeah.
best teachers. I know in one of my I could literally talk to you all day, so I'll make this my last little thing. But one of my consultees, one of my many times where your name is mentioned, someone was saying, Ana Gomez, she taught us how to use measuring spoons for the SUD scale. I was like, wow, that's brilliant. I had never even thought of that. So, so good. You're literally just a gift to our world, gift to our field. And I love that you're going to be with us in Cocoa Beach. Ann and Annie and I are like over the top, crazy excited.
I'm excited to be with all of you, people that are so committed to healing our next generation, to supporting our children, and to supporting the new generation of human beings that can relate to each other, that can relate to the planet, that can relate to our animals, And so I'm just so much looking forward to spending time together. I heard that you're going to have activities in the morning and meditation and play. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
We're going to have a great time. All
Yeah.
right, Anna, thank you so much. See you in
Thank
November.
you. Okay. See
Bye.
you. Bye.